What's up, everybody? It's your boy, J.R. Lee, and I'm back for another special episode of the Fly on the Wall Show, brought to you by Food for Thought Network. And today, we have a very, very important and special guest today. Today's episode 63, and I'm joined by Mr. Alfred Greene. And Alfred, for the people who may not know who you are yet, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do?
Oh, yeah. So like you said, I'm Alfred Greene. Sorry, I'm just getting ready here.
Absolutely.
I'm a buyer for a company called Gentleman Timepieces. We sell very high luxury timepieces, watches to people all over the world. We have a very big YouTube presence. It's not too big, but we have like 114,000 subscribers. We get 100,000 views every week. We have a day in a life video. Just a little bit more about myself is I started probably about 7 months ago as an intern working for free up until now I'm a buyer for the company. So
Absolutely. And where exactly is the company located?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. And
Yeah.
You're not originally from Texas, are you?
No, man, I'm from Connecticut, which is kind of
so,
funny because I'm actually wearing that shirt right now.
Shout out to Connecticut. And so I saw a post that you packed up your car. You actually shot the founder a message and was like, "I come work for you." Can you talk a little bit about that and about this chasing your dream?
Yep. So I don't know if you ever heard of the group, but so I'm what really started all of this kind of because about a year and a few months ago, I probably had like $600 to my name or whatever, and then I started like really hustling and really like getting into the resale game. So I was with a group, or still am with a group called Hypernova.
I see them on Twitter.
Yep. So they pretty much kickstarted everything. So I started doing sneakers, clothes, heaters, pools. And then I actually got into the group because I was selling cars at the time.
Right.
So I left the dealership that I was working for to sell cars for myself full time. And then got into all the other flipping, just anything I can get my hands on. We're talking those little Funkos.
Yeah.
We're talking even this. This is a funny one too, actually. So this is one of the failed ones, but we even started reselling basketballs. So we bought these for $250. We thought they were gonna sell for $1,000, but they ended up flopping. So that's like one of my.
What kind of basketball is that?
It's
$250 for the basketball?
Yeah, it's a Susai. It was limited of 500.
Wow.
But they ended up flopping, so I just ended up keeping it for myself as a funny token.
Like a reminder.
Yeah, because not many people could. It's kind of weird saying it now, but not many people could buy a $250 basketball and not care.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Did it hurt back then when you realized it failed, or was it just like?
Yeah. It hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit because I didn't have the money at the time. You know what I mean? So, but now it's kind of fun. So I just look at this all the time. So now I just keep it under my my computer desk.
Absolutely. And so you started off, flipping all those different things. What brought you to actually luxury timepieces? Like, how did that catch your interest?
It was, man, it's a lot less interesting than you think though. But no, I was flipping all these, flipping everything, flipping all these shoes. I was into the sneaker botting and stuff like that, and then I come across this like TikTok video of Daniel Mack.
Yeah.
What'd you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
Absolutely, I know Daniel. Absolutely.
And one of his videos was my now boss was in his R8 and he got pulled over. He said, "What do you do for a living?" He said, "I sell watches." And then they put his little Instagram thing on there. So I started checking that out. Got into like YouTube videos, watching our YouTube videos at the time. And then something just happened one day where I was just like, it was kind of like they call it a paradigm switch.
Yeah,
in your
absolutely.
Head where you just wake up, everything just kind of clicks for you. I was just like, I'm just going to sell all my all my sneakers, all my bots, everything just to get into watches. So I bought my first watch from this company called Gentleman Timepieces. And
at that time, did you know anything about watches?
No, I knew nothing about watches. Actually, I just knew you can make a lot of money. Absolutely. So that's all I cared. That's all I cared about at the time. But now, I actually grown to like really, really enjoy watches.
Absolutely.
So So yeah, I bought my first watch from them, and then I was like, you know
How
what? Let
much
me
was
just
that
try
watch, by
something.
the way, that you bought?
Oh, it was. I mean,
If you remember.
it's kind of funny because it was my very, very, very first Rolex I ever saw. I never seen a Rolex in person before I bought my first Rolex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just
So
randomly picked one that you could afford. Just like, let me get that one.
yeah. So I picked one I could afford. I picked one that looked like it could like resell for a little bit. I picked one that I thought was a good price, which it actually very was, and I ended up selling it for a lot cheaper than what I should have sold it for. But
Oh wow.
it was a Rolex Submariner. It was a 5-digit sub, so it was a 16610 LN. So that's a aluminum bezel, black dial, black bezel Submariner. You see it all the time. And I bought that for $8,500.
$100.
It was pretty much the first 4-figure watch I ever bought. You know, I never
How
really
did you
even
feel
bought
like
any
when you
watches
bought it?
really. Oh, I felt like you feel like the man when you get your first Rolex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like damn, I just spent $8,000. That's more than what people have in their savings account. You know, that's
Facts.
more than what most people have in general.
Yeah.
And I worked hard for that 9 grand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got it, and you know, I came in the mail, and I was looking at it, and it was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of funny. I don't even think I have one right here. Let's see. What do I have?
Absolutely, man. So when you
So right
when you
here.
got it in the mail,
Yeah, when I got it in the mail, I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than what you see on the internet. You know. So right here, I have a Batman, but so I have this right here, but
oh wow, that's
I don't know
beautiful.
if it's going to focus.
There it is.
Probably not going to focus. Yeah.
No,
But
that's
yeah,
beautiful.
it was kind of like this size, you know, but
Okay.
it's all black.
Right.
But you know, I don't know, I thought it was gonna be like a
Like a
Hublot at the
big
time, but I don't know if you ever see. Yeah, but it came in. It had this small dial, small crown, and
yeah.
stuff, and I was like, damn, this is a lot less exciting than I thought it was gonna be because I was hyping myself. But it was the first Rolex I
Yeah,
ever
I'm about
sold,
to get
so
this nice watch. I'm the man. And so
so
after you got it, did you have any
yes,
regrets? Like, damn, I spent 9,000 on this
no,
watch.
hell no, no. I felt great. I slept with that damn watch. but you know, going back, I after I bought the watch, before it even came in, I texted the one of the owners of the group. So there's two owners. There's Anthony and Marco,
Mm-hmm.
and I texted Anthony basically long paragraph saying, you know, if you give me a chance, I'll pack my shit up today and move
Today.
to you tomorrow if you need me. You know, and it took a few days. He finally said yes, and then
Damn.
3 days later after that, I was down here, got my apartment, got you know utilities, got all that stuff set up before I even seen the place, before I even stepped foot down here. Because before then, I never went past Philly, so I never went past Philadelphia, but I drove 31 hours down here in Texas.
And that was for just an opportunity. This was an internship, so you weren't even getting paid.
Oh yeah. Yep. It was basically it was supposed to be like a 3-month internship to see how they would like it.
Yeah,
It would be not paid because you're basically volunteering to like
absolutely.
work for them. So I figured if it worked out, it worked out. But if it failed, I would bring all my knowledge that I had,
Yeah.
got down here. I would bring it back to Connecticut with me.
And
You
just
know
do
what
it
I
on your
mean?
own.
And then try to do it on my own. Yeah. I'm so glad it worked out the way it did because there was no way I would be where I'm at if I didn't work for them. It's kind of crazy because this business is very very hard to get into, like at the scale that
Absolutely.
I'm at. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now you work for this amazing company, this, I guess, multi-million dollar company. You started
Mm-hmm.
off as an intern, and now you are what you call a buyer.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Absolutely.
I'm one of two primary buyers for the company. So it's Marco, the owner, and then it's myself. And then obviously Anthony, he owns it, so he one of the owners, so he doesn't have to ask me, what to buy for, but he usually does. um, so basically, if somebody wants to trade something in, or if somebody needs a watch to source, the salespeople will either come, will source it and shoot me a text saying, "Hey, is this a good price to buy it at?" And I'll tell them whether it's a yes or no, and then give them the okay whether to buy it or not. But also, I have the power to buy pretty much anything for inventory for us. So if you go to our site, it's the timepiecegentleman.com, and then you can see our inventory right there from watches, uh, watch rolls, watch cases, anything like that.
So what are some of the type of like different watches? I know you Rolex, of course. What other type of watches do you guys offer?
Yeah. So I myself specialize in kind of the higher end timepieces. So I specialize in the Rolexes, the APs, the Patek Philippe, the Richard Mille, um, among other brands. But we also carry
So
we
everything
also
you probably
carry
hear like in a rap song.
yeah. Everything you hear in a rap song, every single thing you hear in a rap song. Yeah. It's kind of funny because one of the person that I never even realized used to talk about this stuff 20 years ago, 25 years ago was Jay-Z used to always drop
Easy.
brands that I never even heard about. So I never even thought to think,
Yeah.
they were watches. But listening back, he's talking about Maybachs, he was talking about, Rolex, he was talking about everything. I mean, everybody was talking about Rolex, but he was going into the little depth of it. It's kind of funny. But
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, we do Omega, we do Frank Mueller, we do pretty much any higher end brand, kind of from the $4,000 and up.
Absolutely, man. And so when it comes to like luxury timepieces, they can serve as like a networking tool, right? You see a lot of people, they go to these different business meetings or luncheons,
Mm-hmm.
and then they see a nice watch. You see another person have a nice watch. It's automatically a conversation starter. Why is that, do you think?
Um, I'm not really sure on like why it is, but I mean everybody likes exclusivity. Everybody likes things that other people can't have, especially rich people. You know what I mean? Especially
Absolutely.
wealthy people. You know, but you make a great point as far as it's super good with networking
Absolutely.
because that's my life. Networking is my life, man. You know what I mean? I learned how to golf because of networking. I learned F1 because of networking. I learned about high end brands because of networking. You know what I mean? Because wealthy people like to talk. And they don't like
Absolutely.
boring talk. You know what I mean? They like talking about stuff that they're interested in. So I
Something that's
made sure I
relatable.
knew it. Yeah. So I made sure I could relate to everything. You know what I mean? Sports I keep up with. I enjoy sports, but I keep up with it just so I can talk about
Conversation.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know. But watches is something that I didn't learn was a networking until I was into the business. And now, I have NBA clients, NFL clients, MLB clients, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Not only is it like a networking tool, though, right? You think it could be like a gatekeeper as well? Like, for example, if you walk into a room, someone might look at your watch and be like, or they may not see any watch. Like, for example, like I was on Twitter. I know you're pretty sure you remember the whole thing that happened with the real estate guy Brandon and everything, right? I
Yeah.
seen I seen a girl tweet. I seen a girl tweet and she was like, "Well, you should have knew he wasn't wealthy. He didn't even have a watch, right?" And so, do you
Yeah.
feel like it can become like a gatekeeper in a sense where you're not allowed in the room if you don't have a nice watch, type of thing?
Um, I mean, I'm not gonna say that every wealthy person in the world that has money has watches or nice watches or wears watches,
Right.
but I will say most of them do. Um, it all depends on the environment that you're in,
Right.
right? If you're, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but in a sense, yes. To answer your question, yeah. People look. I mean, like here, I'll use myself as an example. Now, unfortunately, like I'm like that. You know what I mean? I try not to judge people by what they have on their wrist,
Absolutely.
um, because honestly, the number one top selling watch in the world right now is the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
So everybody wears, everybody wears the Apple Watch. So I try my best not to do that because I try to treat everybody like they were buying a $500,000 watch from me, uh, and that has helped me tremendously. I've sold $3,000 watches to somebody who were just talking to me, kind of giving me a little hard time. But then,
Yeah.
next week I wake up and they're like, "Hey, I heard you like McLaren. So look at what I just got." And they'll show me like
Yeah.
a 765 LT or a 720S or a six, just people that you never even think.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, I'll look at somebody's wrist and, obviously if they have a nice watch on, that's who I want to talk to because that's my business.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
if you're in a country club, usually people are rocking Submariners. They're rocking Omega Speedmasters, Omega Seamasters, Rolex Submariners, Rolex GMT, just like the one that I showed you. This is very popular. This is called the Batman or the
Batman.
Batgirl. So yeah, I mean, it's a yes or a no, but in your sense, yeah, it's kind of like a gatekeeping, keeping things.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, just a while ago, you mentioned something about like it all depends on their environment, right? For you, you know, as a watch dealer and just as a human being, entrepreneur, how important is your environment?
Super important, super important. I mean, you always want to put yourself in the best situation and the best environments. Um, Always kind of figure out what your goal is. You know, like when I'm even the restaurants that I pick, you know, I'm trying to go to restaurants where if I sit at the bar, I'm always sitting with my hand to the left of me, you know, because it's on my left. So I make sure if I sit on the bar, I'm always at the left of the bar because that's where my watch is showing on the corner.
Uh,
You know, I do stuff like that. You know, I'll
Sounds
play
very
with my
strategic.
business. Yeah, I'll play with my business card. You know, at the bar. You know, just spinning it around. You know, whatever, or I'll just keep it there. Um, you know,
Is that to like spark conversation?
mm-hmm, absolutely, absolutely. Especially when you're wearing something like this, people definitely notice.
And what kind of
So
watches
this
that you're
is
wearing now?
so this is a. Oh, 1 second. Let me see if I could. So this is a AP. It's an Audemars Piguet 15400 rose gold.
Uh, how much do you think one of those go run you?
So this one I just bought. Um, this one it'll retail for around 78 to 80,000, something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Do you ever
So
feel like nervous walking around with that? Like,
no, because like you just stated, you know, my environment. I'm
right,
always
stay in the
aware of
right
my
environment.
environment. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? If I'm going out at night, which I rarely do,
Right.
I'll put something, you know, cheaper on, or I won't wear anything at all.
Absolutely.
But if I'm like in the daytime, like me and my girlfriend just went to brunch, you know, I'll
Yeah.
just put this on. But I just got this, so I'm in a honeymoon phase right now. So
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
wear it every day.
Absolutely, man. You know, we were speaking about networking not too long ago. You know, you actually were able to go to a baseball game yesterday because of what you
Hmm.
do. You want to talk a little bit about that experience and who your client was and how that happened?
Yeah, yeah. My other clients, I can't really say.
Oh,
I
yeah, of
don't know
course.
if they like
Of
being
course.
but Lance, I don't think he ever cares. So we have a client and a huge fan of ours. He's a fan turned friend, so I hate to even call him a fan now. But
Yeah.
his name Lance McCullers. He's a starting pitcher for the Astros.
That's so dope.
Um, so pretty much anytime if we ever go to Houston, he's having a game, he'll throw us tickets because he enjoys. He has a sick collection though, really
Yeah,
badass collection. He's big with AP. But yeah. I mean, I've been plenty of places just because of my clients just give me tickets and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's wild actually.
that's amazing, man. And you know, earlier we were talking about like the power of social media, man, and how I follow you on Twitter and I saw you like posting the various watches and I saw that you were closing like 5-figure deals and you mentioned you closed a couple of 6-figure deals off of social media
Mhm.
as well. We want to talk about the importance of social media, especially for what it is that you do.
Yeah. I mean, obviously our business was like our company, not the business, but was built on social media.
Yeah,
Uh, my my uh, my boss Anthony, you know, he was the marketing guy in the company, and my other boss Marco is
yeah,
like the he was originally like the watch guy. You know,
yeah.
I mean, now they're both watch guys, but he's been in the business for like 8 years, so he has all the dealer connections.
Oh, that's great.
He's the one that bought the watches, right? So Anthony could sell the watches, right? You know, he would buy low so we can sell high.
Mm,
You know, and me, I kind of wanted to be like both. You know, I
yeah,
want to be able to do that and the social media. I have a lot to work on with social media, so I'm still learning that. But I definitely do quite a bit off of just posting. You know, I try to post consistently, but sometimes I get lazy or
of
or
course.
like I just forget because I'm not a social media guy. You know, I'm always on it just because of what I do.
Absolutely.
But as far as like posting goes, like my Instagram is a little slow just because I don't post enough. But I'm trying to pick that up too. We have like full-time photographers now and everything that take pictures like all the time. So just for content.
Absolutely.
But yeah, social media is huge, especially these days. It was a little bit better a few years ago, or 2 years ago, when the algorithm on Instagram was a little bit better. But now, like if you put a million hashtags and everything, they don't even work anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely.
So yeah, so it was a little bit easier, but now it's just all about consistent posting.
Absolutely. So like, what was one? So you are. I remember you telling me like you're one of like their top salesmen, man. And so do you like what are some of your sales goals that you have for yourself daily, and how do you stay consistent with those goals?
I mean, one of my sales goals, it's a little bit like egotistical or something. I always want to be the best.
Absolutely, you
So
got to.
so I walk in every day trying to sell the most watches, and if it's not the most watches, it's the most profit watches, so that's what I walk in every day. But yeah, I mean, my goal monthly, it changes considering, what type of business it is that month. So like summer is super slow. Winter time is pretty busy. Tax time is pretty slow. But it's been pretty consistent throughout the year. But I don't know. I don't really have like any like numerical goals or monetary goals that I want to reach. I just always want to be number one. That's kind of my goal.
You got to be the best sometimes, especially in sales.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I read sales books, all the time. I mean, I haven't read one in a little bit, but we got. And then this is what I used to learn Rolexes with.
Okay.
What other books that I got? Let's see. This book right here, if anybody's in sales and they really want to be better, this book right here I read like
The Way of the Wolf, Jordan Bluth.
This dude, people hate him, but when you could pretty much scam millionaires out of billions of dollars, just the way you talk, that's who I want to learn how to sell something for. It's kind of like it's funny. I'm not trying to look for scam, but this dude taught hundreds of people how to sell just like him, and they all just became rich off of that. I mean, it was for malicious intent in this situation, but you could definitely use what he says in this book to help you in sales. They helped me a lot. But also experience is probably the number one thing that I tell anybody to do. Like, just go for it. Don't be scared.
Absolutely, man. And so, you said how long you said you've been working? How long have you not been an intern? I know you was an intern. You started with the company, you said 7 months ago?
Oh, yeah. After a month, they gave me a sales position.
After a month?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was worth the drive.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the drive. It was definitely a big risk. It was the biggest risk that I've probably taken in my life, but it was definitely worked out.
I think most rich and successful people will tell you that you have to take big risks in order to get a big reward.
Oh yeah. There's no reward without risk. None. Ever. You can't think of a scenario where there is besides the lottery, and even then you're going to be spending thousands of dollars before you win, unless you're real lucky. But yeah, after a month, they started letting me sell because kind of business ramped up a little bit, so they needed it. But I also showed them that I could sell. So the first watch I ever sold with them, pretty much ever sold, but it was a rhodium dial Yachtmaster with blue hands. I wish I had actually a picture of it. And
is that the first watch you sold?
That was the first watch I sold for the company. Yep.
Okay. And that was the most expensive one at the same time, you said?
No. That was probably not the cheapest one, but that was definitely what started them believing that I could actually sell. And I kind of sold it without their permission, kind of.
Prove yourself.
Yeah. And then I didn't tell them I was selling something until I was like, hey, can I sell this for this price? And they were like, hell yeah, you could do that. and then I sold it.
Sometimes you can't ask for permission, man. You just gotta show up and show out.
No, man, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, bro. Trust me.
Okay, man, that's a bar. Say it again.
I said it's always it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if it's if it's for a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so here's the first watch I ever. So this one was pretty special to me. I'll always remember this watch just because it was the first. Actually, it was a 40 millimeter, so it was just right here.
That's a cool.
Yeah, so this watch at the time, I sold it for 12,500. And I got it. I sold it to this dealer in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is huge for watches, bro. It's stupid. Like if we ever open up a new location, like somewhere else, I called dibs on Hong Kong because I just want to be out there. But my girlfriend will hate me if she heard that. But yeah, I sold it to exactly. So yeah, that was the first watch. I sold it for 12,500. Now it's going for around 17,000, and that was literally 5 months ago. 5 months ago.
Like so, yeah. I guess like the resale value in watches goes up like really quickly. Like how? Like why? You know why that is, or how that works?
It's supply and demand.
Demand.
We're going through every industry almost is going through a really hard time right now with producing things. Nothing's different with Rolex, nothing's different with AP, nothing's different with Patek, RM, all those. But yeah, that has a huge play in it. How many people want these now? Because people are really paying attention to watches now. It's just a nice way to park money. Because it's basically like. It's basically for all the crypto people that watch your show. It's basically like instead of putting in a coin, you put in like stable coin, just so it's just sitting there. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. And then until you're ready to put it in something else that goes up. So Rolex is kind of the same thing right now. Otherwise, this Rolex is going up a lot. Everything's going up a lot. So it's just a nice way to park money.
Absolutely. So if somebody wanted to get into investing, it was like, you know what? Let me get a Rolex. What watch would you recommend them get started in?
I tell everybody the same kind of. It's all about budget, really. Figure out how much you have to spend. If you got 5,000 to 7,000, I would put it in like a vintage 1990s Datejust. If you have like 10 to 15,000, I would say maybe a Submariner. If you have, or like a black Submariner. If you have 15 to 20 to invest for your first time, I'd say something like the Bad Girl here. This goes for brand new. It goes for about 19,000, 19,500, something like that. A few months ago, I was selling these things for 16,000. They went up. They went up a lot. If you have 20 to 25, I would say go with like a Pepsi. So it's this watch right there.
Okay, I can see why I say Pepsi.
Yep. If you have 25 to 30,000, I would say try to give you some visuals.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
And this is all Rolex. There's other options you can do if you don't like Rolex, but this is just the easiest. Let's see. It's going to be a blue dial stainless steel Sky Dweller that you can buy for around 29,000 to 30,000.
And all of these watches you guys have at your location, right?
For the most part.
Or can get.
If I don't have it, I can get very, very easily. There's really not a watch I can't get. Yeah, you heard his name, Taeyeon Tech.
Absolutely, I see him on Twitter.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So he bought one of these Sky Dwellers off of me. He bought a white dial one, I think. But he brought his boy in yesterday that actually might buy one of these blue dials off of me. So this is what they look like.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
So he bought one of these. But this
Yes.
is for $30,000, you can get something like this. These go for like 23, 24,000. Then you can get into the all solid gold stuff. So these go for about somewhere in the 50,000s. These are about 45,000. I just sold one of those yesterday. These
Wow.
are about 46, 47,000. And they jump up to like 65,000.
Wow. How
Yeah.
much do you think that you sell like on a monthly? What's your monthly average so far? If you have,
Uh,
or what was like your best month, I should say, since it might fluctuate.
my best month, I probably sold by myself. I sell probably a little bit over $1 million in a month.
It's not. We're not even talking about cars. We're
But
talking about something you put on your wrist.
yeah, yeah,
Whew, that's a long way from selling cars, man.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's not even. I don't know. It's kind of weird now because I did a $500,000 in 1 week, one week in July. So I'm trying to think.
Man, that's
But
amazing.
you do that, and I probably average 13 to 14% profit
Yeah.
on that.
So for you, right, Alfred, what's your end goal? Like, do you think that you're gonna stay in this space, or do you feel like you're gonna
Yeah,
take?
yeah. There's nowhere else I'm going. No, this is it. This is it.
Feel like you
It's
found your
just
purpose within this?
yeah, man. It's just too good. Even when everything goes down,
Yeah.
there's there, there's always going to be people that are buying watches. There are always going to be people who are selling watches, and all you have to do is just buy right and sell right. So you just buy low, sell high, and that's that's capitalism in general. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So and that'll never go away. So even if everything goes to shit, there will still be an outlet here for me, at least, I think. And that's kind of what I set myself up to. It's just so if everything goes wrong, I still have a job.
Absolutely.
I still got money
Wow, man.
flowing.
This is amazing, man. So like 7, 8 months ago, you had $600 to your name, and now you hitting $1 million sales months.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd
Wow. So
say more about a year ago, because
there you go.
Hypernova definitely got me really really set up nicely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, man. And
So
so absolutely,
oh,
man.
sorry.
So what have you learned about yourself so far? Like since just this whole journey started for you, what moving across to like Texas from Connecticut, being an intern, like taking a risk, being an intern to now a
Yeah.
buyer, one of the top sales guy. What have you personally learned about yourself? How have you grown as a person?
Uh, I don't, man, I don't know, because I always thought I had it in me. So
Confident.
you have to be,
Absolutely.
especially when you do stupid shit like I do. Like like work for somebody you never met before, and
Absolutely. Because of a
move all
TikTok.
your shit happen. Yeah, exactly. Because it's something you see on YouTube. Because trust me, what I've learned about social media with other people
Oh
is
man.
there's a lot of fake stuff out there.
A lot of
People,
facades, people put
yeah,
up
yeah,
these
yeah.
like fake images. Absolutely.
hmm hmm So I'm just, I owe it to the people who gave me a shot to do the
Yeah.
best I can for them. You know what I mean? You spoke about end goals. One of my end goals is to pretty much like open my own store underneath their name
Absolutely.
or under their umbrella, where I could just hire people that I want, and I could run that portion of the business. That's basically my end goal for them.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And I'm not gonna keep it too much longer.
No,
One of
bro,
the questions. Say it again.
I got all day, bro. You're good.
Absolutely, man. One of the
It's
questions
Sunday.
it's Sunday. One of the questions I like to ask all of my guests, man, is their definition of success. Now, success, it could vary depending on where you are in life. It could be a nice watch, it could be a
Hmm.
nice car, it could be your health, it could be happiness. What's your definition of success?
Let me see. I don't know. I got to really success to me isn't monetary.
Absolutely.
It's the feeling that you have. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Me personally, my success for me is when you can do anything you want and you don't have to worry about how much money is in your bank account. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I used to go to Taco Bell and get $10 box for 12 tacos to last me 3 days. You know what I mean? So I remember not even being able to spend $20 a week,
Yeah.
because I didn't know how much money I would have the next day. So for me, success is just being able to do I thinking about it, it's so dumb, but I spend probably $300 a day on food just because
Wow.
because I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Because you
and
can. You have the ability.
I should, yeah, I can, but I shouldn't. But
Yeah.
trust me, I get yelled at every day from my girlfriend. So for anybody watching, I'm not. She's the finance one, and yeah, I just make the money. So yeah, so that's success to me, man. Like, it's just not having to worry about anything. Like oh, I remember going to high school and being jealous of kids who got cars because they graduated, it was their birthday or something like that. And I want to give my kids that. I
Yeah.
want to be able to give my kids whatever they want. If they ask me to be like, Dad, I need $5,000. I'm gonna be like, for what? And if it's a good reason, I have it for them, because I can never do that.
Right.
So that's what I want to do, even though it's not always about money. But
Yeah.
trust me, they say money doesn't buy happiness, but it definitely helps.
It definitely helps, man. Cause, bro, you think about all the problems in the world, where it stems from.
Yeah,
A lot of that shit
man,
comes from lack of
bro, it's
money,
always
dog.
money.
It's always around.
It is.
It's
It
all
is.
about
It is.
having too much money or no
Trust me.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you
I
took
mean,
it
like I said,
money.
there's plenty of rich people in the world who have died from suicide.
Yeah.
So it's definitely doesn't make you happy, but it for damn sure helps. It helps you
Absolutely.
find a way to get happy.
Yeah.
That's what it does. For me, I spend a lot, but it's just because I never had anything.
Yeah. Wow, that's
So
deep. It's
that's
because you never had it. Absolutely, man.
and that's usually the problem with everybody. But
Yeah. What has been like one of your biggest purchases since you started, earning money,
um,
other than that
not
$78,000
much.
watch?
Yeah, just that, man. I don't make that much money, but I definitely are able to do a lot of things that other
It's a good
people
marketing tool too. You sell watches and you got a $78,000 watch on. Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah.
Makes a lot of
Yep,
sense.
yep, yep.
Makes a lot
So
of sense.
I mean, in the next month or so, I'm buying my new car, so that'll probably be my biggest purchase, I guess. But it's really nothing special. It's just a Porsche GT4
She's
that I want.
just a Porsche. That's amazing. What,
I
like,
mean,
what was the
that's
car you was driving when you first got to Texas?
BMW 328 that I got for $10,000 at my last job.
Wow. That's definitely a nice upgrade.
But it looked like a $30,000 car, $40,000 car, so it's good.
Good, man.
Yeah, no, I'll only say just the Porsche because I'm surrounded by McLarens and Lamborghinis and
Yeah,
G-Wagons and
you see bigger
Ferraris
stuff
and
all the
stuff. So
time. Yeah,
so this business definitely desensitizes you to money sometimes, and
yeah.
it's kind of hard for me to control that sometimes. So like I'll say little things like that I don't really mean, but it just comes from me being
Subconsciously,
surrounded by
yeah, you're
different.
around it a
Yeah.
lot. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That
so
makes sense.
sometimes even like talking to my family, sometimes I have to watch what I say because I just sound like an asshole. But I don't mean to. It's just because
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just used to my life as it is, not as it was.
Would you have, if you were to ask yourself this like a few years ago, like you said, like in high school, you were jealous, like, could your high school self see yourself now?
Uh, Man, in high school, I always knew I was gonna do something with my
Yeah.
life. I just didn't know what it was gonna be. But I found out a few years ago that sales is me. Like I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realize that. But I can tell you my first sales story was, I was 10 years old,
Yeah.
and it was field day in elementary school, and super hot day. It was the hottest day of the summer, I think, and it was my birthday, and they were giving out free popsicles to the students. So we want to get overheated or whatever. So I was going back in line, and collecting these ice pops and selling them for $1 on the playground. You know, so I was collecting all these free ice pops and selling them for $1. You know, people didn't know that they can get them. You know, so I made like 34. I made $34 that day, and I'll never forget that.
At 10 years old, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, that was $1 million, bro. Some girl told the principal, which now I think is illegal. They actually took my money from me and never gave it back. And they called my dad over. The principal called, yeah, they called my dad. I never see my dad smile so damn hard, dude.
He was so proud of you,
because he's a hustler. Because he's a hustler. I mean, my dad is a true hustler at heart. He buys and sells cars. He made close to 6 figures last year with catalytic converters. You know what I mean? Just like, because all the cars that he just buys junk cars, and you know, he junks, he does lawn care, he does all that. See, the difference between me and him, though, I don't like to get my hands dirty, so
yeah, that's usually how it is now with the newer generation. Yeah. Absolutely, man. You definitely come a long way, man. And you know, if you can like say some words of encouragement to someone who may have been in like maybe in a position like you or even worse a year ago, and they just wanted an opportunity and wanted a chance, you know, what's something that you would say like, yo, like to like bring them up, like to motivate them to like, you know, chase their dreams and to want more for themselves?
Yeah. I mean, if you're thinking about chasing dreams, you're already ahead of many people who just think about it. You know what I mean? One thing I love telling people is don't think about it, just do it. You know, thinking about it's going to kill you. You know what I mean? The more you think about it, the more negative things you're going to see in that situation. You know what I mean? And that'll discourage anybody from doing it. You know, me, I think of something, I see an opportunity, and I just go for it. You know, if I fail, I fail.
You gotta fail, man. You gotta fail.
Yeah,
you're gonna fail way more times. You're gonna lose way more time than you are gonna win, man. But
yeah. Like I say, if you're young and you're watching this, definitely take risk, because if you lose it all, you have time to make it back. And that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm 27 years old, and I'll put all my money, I'll put every single dime in something. And if I lose it, I lose it. But I have many years to make that money back. That's why I don't care about money. You know, I try to save it a little bit. You know, I definitely have enough funds to last me a few years if I needed to. But if I had an opportunity to spend all my money to make a lot more, I'll do it, because I have a few years. You know, I have a lot of years left to make something back. Because I don't ever worry about money. You know, if I go broke tomorrow, you know, I'll bag up dirt on the street and sell it on eBay for $5 each. You know, because people will buy it. You know what I mean?
Somebody's gonna buy it. Yo, people are buying digital images, pictures and stuff now. NFTs.
Yeah, I am.
People are buying everything.
For sure. Yep. That's what I've gotten into, the NFTs and the crypto and stuff like that. So I've made decent amount of money off of that. It's definitely it's interesting life we live in.
Yeah, it is, man. 10 years ago, we would never thought like the life that we see nowadays. Well, we probably would have, but not like so quickly. It's weird, man. It's so interesting, man.
10 years ago, I was fucking selling, you know, fucking dime bags and making 50% of the profit. You know, you know, I was making $5 to $10 every flip, because I was helping somebody out. You know, and I thought that was all right.
He was doing something.
Yeah. You know, I was probably making $200 a week off of doing that at 17, 18, and then, you know, now making
millions of dollars in watches.
Something like that. It sounds like a lot, but it's people out there with
that could be 5 watches depending on the watch.
Yeah, it could be one. It could be one.
Shit. There's a watch that's. Have you ever seen a watch worth $1 million?
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah, a few watches actually.
What kind of watch would go for $1 million?
You know, one of the any like Sapphire Tourbillon RM, Richard Mille, or any not any, but a lot of the Jacob & Co. Astronomias. I don't know if you've been following me. So a few weeks ago, or last week, I posted this thick ass watch that was like clear, and it had like worlds in it. You know, that watch is worth like.
I saw the one you posted, like I saw the one with like the The one like the gambling watch. I forgot what it's called. The one with the
Oh
like
yeah,
the,
yeah. So that one was a Christophe Claret. So that one that was a pretty wild one too. The main thing that made that watch so wild is that it was actually certified to gamble on. So you could use it as a casino and like legit. Like it was so
that's
the way
crazy.
you get certified like that is they test your randomness to see if there's any patterns. And it turns out that
Right.
watch, has no patterns, which is kind of crazy if you think it's because it's all mechanical in it.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. It's crazy.
Wow, man. That's dope, man. That's dope, man. But honestly, bro, I really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day. I know we are supposed to do it yesterday,
Oh
but
yeah,
I know you had the game. I was running late,
yeah.
man. So,
No
I
problem, man. I
appreciate you, man, for
appreciate it.
taking the time. No,
Yeah,
absolutely, man.
yes. Hopefully you could hear everything. I know the TV's kind of loud, so.
Nah, man. Nah, man. But definitely good. It's definitely good, man. I know once I get my money up, I know exactly where to go to get my first watch, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, man. Anytime, bro.
Absolutely, 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 man. So for the people who may want to check you out, check out your Twitter, check out your company, where can they find you at?
Yeah. So on Twitter, my name is Alfred Greene IV. So ALFREDGREENE. I is in Indigo, V is in Victor. On Twitter. On the website is the timepiecegentleman.com. That way you can see all of our inventory. We try to update it regularly on a daily basis. If you want to look us up on YouTube, it's the Timepiece Gentleman. If you just search that, you'll find us. And in the last 3 videos, you'll see how shit-faced I got at this event. Kind of blacked out. And
Oh,
yeah,
was
I
that the
think
one
that's
when
it.
you guys missed your flight and you guys went on, was that one?
We didn't miss our flight, but we went out to an event. So there's another big time YouTuber that does watch dealing. His name is Roman Sharf.
Right.
Really, really big. He's been in the business for 10 times as long as we have. Really, really cool guy. And he's Russian. The company's Russian. So he threw an event, and let's say I couldn't keep up with Russians,
Absolutely, man.
but
Absolutely,
I
man.
but I damn sure tried to.
Hey, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. But man, Alfred, man, I appreciate you for taking the time today, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, bro. I appreciate it a lot. Trust me, I don't do
Absolutely.
this too often, but yeah.
Hey, man, it's the first of
So
many, bro. You're gonna be doing a lot of interviews, man. Especially when you open up
hopefully.
your own store under the umbrella, man. You're gonna be doing a lot of these interviews.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be a few years down the road, but for now I'll be killing it for them. No problem.
No problem, man. Absolutely, man. Until next time, bro. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, bro. Peace.
Have a good one, man.